What's up, guys? Dan here. Thanks so much for joining in for today's video. So today's going to be really fun because we're going to be taking a car that absolutely does not belong on the Nurburgring and see what kind of lap time we can get. So this is a 2006, I believe, Ford Crown Victoria. They call it the Spec P71. That's what it's called from the modding team here. This is in fact a mod, but what makes this so different is I believe that this has got to be very close to, if not the most intricately designed and built from the ground up mod, at least for road cars, that I have ever driven, period. This thing is fantastic. They model things into this car that are just unheard of when it comes to mods, especially when it comes to road cars. Now, I'm going to give you a few brief details about it, and then we're going to take it on track. But before I do that, I need to give a huge shout out to Mike from Sim Racing 604 because he made a video on this yesterday, or maybe the day before. But if he had not made his video about this car, I would have absolutely not even known that this ever existed. So huge shout out to Mike. He did a video there. He goes very detailed on all of the specifics on the car, which I'm not going to really do that here. We're just going to drive it and see what kind of lap time we can put down. But he did do a video that has a lot of the intricate details about how they designed it, who designed it, all that good stuff. So I'll put that in the put that link in the description below so you can check that out if you want to know all that stuff. We're just going to drive it, but I am going to give you a few of the details here. This car is so detailed and has so many features that it literally comes with a 10-page instruction manual so you know how to drive it. What really, and this is going to kind of sound pretty crazy, I'm sure, but the thing that makes me so excited about this car is this is the first car ever that I have ever driven, mod or not, in any game that actually models an automatic transmission realistically. So you put it into drive or overdrive and it does the work for you. Now you may be saying, well, no, that's not true. You can just go through the settings in any game and put in automatic transmission. And yes, you can do that. But most games, or every car that I've ever driven in any game, even if you make the transmission completely automatic, it will rev out the gears to their entirety before it shifts into the next gear. So for example, even if you're light on the throttle, it's going to rev first gear all the way out before it moves into second gear. Same thing in second, it's going to rev it all the way out, which is just not realistic. And I know this sounds crazy, but the thing that I'm most excited about, and I've tested this now, and it does work really, really well, so close to real life, it's crazy. They have modeled this 4R75E transmission that would have come in this car from the factory. It is not a great transmission, guys. This is one of the transmissions that Ford put in basically their commuter cars with a V8, and it is not a great transmission. It is a 3-speed plus overdrive. It doesn't shift fast. It doesn't shift down on command like a fast shifting transmission would. This is an old school torque converter, and they've modeled that precisely perfect in the game. So on our lap, we're going to put this car in overdrive. I am not going to shift any gears. We're going to let the car do the work, which is going to make it even harder to get a good lap time in. But I don't know why, but this is just super exciting. But there are a lot of awesome features. They also model the fuel tank and starvation and fuel. So if you start to run the car down and G-forces move the fuel around in the tank, you will start to get starvation and the car will cut out. So there's just tons of stuff. Really, really awesome. This is a great mod, especially for road cars. And I've been having a blast driving this thing around. So without further ado, we're going to get it on track and see what kind of lap time we can put down on the Nurburgring. All right, here we are, guys. Let's see what we can do here. So real quick before we get this lap going, and it is kind of hidden behind my my steering wheel, I'm noticing here. I just want to show you real quick that you can manually shift this car. If you shift it the first time, you go into 1, 2, and then 3, and that's how you can shift it like a standard car. But if you can see that light says overdrive off down there, we're going to race this with it in standard drive with overdrive. This is where you want to put it if you want it to use that. We're rolling forward. I'm going to just put it in neutral real quick. There we go. That's where you're going to want to put it if you want it to do what a real transmission does. Now, you may not be as crazy as me. You may not want to have that. But if you do want the most realistic way you would ever drive this car, this is how you're going to do it. Also, I want to show you that I know we're going to do the lap. I'm sorry. But I want to show you that when you put this thing in reverse, it pops up a reverse camera. And not only does it do that, but it moves the trajectory lines just like a real car. Also, I haven't tested this, but supposedly, Mike said this in his video, you can actually use legit Spotify on the radio in this car. This is insane. They've gone a long way with this. So let's go ahead and put this thing in overdrive here. Okay, we're in top gear, and now we are going to do a hot lap here and see what we can do. Now, this car is under-tired and definitely under-braked. So they say that in the instruction manual and the details and stuff like that. So we're going to have to be very, very careful and brake early. So we're not going to get lightning laps with this, but you have to be very careful because they have modeled everything very, very precisely. So you will wear your tires out fast. They don't have a lot of grip. You can heat the brakes up, really, really bad, and it will definitely affect your braking performance. I've done that. This keeps track of the miles, and you can see I've already done about 20 miles on this car, and some of it was on this track, some of it was on a couple others just to kind of test it out. But this thing is awesome. So you're not going to get this is not a peak performance kind of thing. So it's really soft. Does not handle well. The force feedback, you can turn it up and stuff like that, but no matter what you do, it's not going to be that sharp because the physics that they're modeling here is on very, very soft suspension. So it's not going to be out of this world fast. It's not going to handle that good, but I don't know why I'm attracted to this kind of mods, but I absolutely love road cars. And when you have one that is this detailed, might be coming in too hot there. When you have one that is just this intricate in details and options and stuff like that, there's all kind of extra lights you can turn on and stuff like that. I've got this thing to the floor, by the way, guys. I'm pretty sure that these Crown Vics came with slow it down, get on the brakes a little bit here. I'm pretty sure that these Crown Vics came with the same 2-valve 4.6 liter that 4.6 liter V8 that the new Edge, so that would be a 1999 through a 2004 Mustang GT. I'm pretty sure that is the same motor that it came with. Probably had slightly less horsepower, something in the 220, 240 range. Maybe 250, and torque was probably similar. And I've had quite a few new Edge GTs. I don't remember exactly what the values were as far as performance. I assume the Crown Vic was detuned a little bit. And honestly, oh shoot, see that? We're losing brakes already, and we're barely into this lap. Yeah, but so it does have a pretty decent V8 in it, but what really killed these cars was the transmission, because it is not very reactive. It doesn't really downshift on command right when you ask it to and stuff like that, but that's the realism here that I'm enjoying. It is super, super cool. This thing is awesome, guys. So, yeah. I'll put the link to this in the description below. You definitely got to try it out. Definitely also go check out Mike's. Oh, nothing there. We got nothing as far as traction. There's no traction here. We have no brakes. This is so fun. I don't know why it's so fun. It's kind of crazy, but this is very enjoyable to me. Gotta be very careful through this little spot right here. You can see, you may or may not be able to see my foot down there, but when you let off the throttle, it kind of floats the RPMs, almost like a CVT does now. But that's the way these old torque converter transmissions were. And what happens is when you come out of the corner, on corner exit, you put your foot back down, but there's a humongous hesitation before the transmission shifts down to a lower gear. So you're kind of having to time that a little bit and get that right. We're already 3 minutes and 52 seconds. If that timer is correct, I'm honestly not sure. I'm doing a hot lap. I'm assuming that that is correct. But we've hardly got anywhere yet, and we're already at 4 minutes into this lap. And it's on the floor here, guys. On the floor. This would be... I think that they made this car for a guy to practice laps on a... on the same car that he races in the real world. There's some details in that pamphlet that this comes with, and I read through it briefly, and it sounded like to me that this guy was looking for a car to race or to do track days initially. And what he ended up doing was he was looking at Miatas and some other cars, and then I guess there was just so many of them already that he decided to just do something different, and he went to a police auction, like a county or a state auction, and he literally bought an ex-police car. And that's what he started doing track days. And I believe now there's actually an official racing series that goes on for these Crown Vics. I don't know if it's like an official sanction thing or they just do it for fun. But yeah, there's a lot of liveries. I don't know if they're realistic, but when you're picking your livery in the content manager, there's quite a few with actual names. So I'm assuming that there are a group of people that do this. Of course, they're probably not taking it in the Nurburgring. This is going to be a US-based thing. So yeah, they're probably doing tracks around the United States like VIR and stuff like that. But this car absolutely does not belong here, and we're giving it everything we've got. Now, you may be wondering why in the world I would even care to take a car like this on this track, and I don't have an answer for it. It's just I don't know. I really do not have an answer for that, but it is a blast. I really highly suggest you do the same thing. You can totally get a faster lap time, I'm sure, if you take it out of the overdrive mode and then just drive it traditionally with the paddles. Like I think anybody would really do if they were trying to get ultimate lap times. But I think they just spent, I don't know how much time they spent, but they must have spent loads of time implementing all these new systems to model that transmission and the fuel and stuff like that. And, you know, I just want to take advantage of the time that they invested in that. And I really wish that more cars, especially for people who like to just cruise with friends and stuff like that, even if you're in fast cars, you know, let's take a Ferrari 458, for example, with an automatic transmission. Yes, it's going to be extremely fast if you're matting it, but if you're just cruising around with friends, you're not going to be full throttle the whole time. And in reality, that car will shift early if you're not trying to get the most out of it. But I'm not aware of any car like that, fast or slow, outside of this that actually does that. And it just, I hope that this modding team, and I'll put their information in the description as well. I hope that they have plans to build some more cars like that with these features, not necessarily this specific kind of car. Something faster would be fun too, but it would be awesome if we could get more cars that just had real life, true to life transmissions like this does. And I know that sounds crazy because it's not the way you would race a car, but it adds an additional layer of difficulty, if that makes sense. Because you're having to, ooh, I'm going too fast there. Sorry. You're having to really concentrate much more. So we just trapped 8 minutes in, and we haven't even got to the second carousel yet. So this is an extremely slow car. Of course, there are slower things out there. Like I said earlier, the force feedback is awesome. It is really good. Here's the second carousel. It's a little bit squishy because they're modeling very soft suspension. So the force feedback here isn't very sharp, but you wouldn't expect it or want it to be in this scenario. Yeah, I think I've got the sound down low. I can't hear it that well, just so it doesn't pick up in my microphone, but I believe I'm hearing some brake squeal now. All right, so we're in the final straight here. and I've got it to the floor, guys. I'm giving it everything it's got. We just passed 100 miles an hour. That's 110. It's just so slow, but it's so much fun. There's 120-ish, 9 minutes and 5 seconds in. I'm assuming that that timer is correct. If it is not, I'll put an actual more accurate timer on screen in the video, but I believe it is correct. We've put 32 miles total on this. This is about all it's got right here. 122, 123-ish miles an hour. We are going to have to, we got to get into the brakes here. That will be very treacherous. This also has some kind of ABS feature or some kind of advanced brake feature where you feel the brakes through the steering wheel. It's not just ABS, it's something a little more advanced than that. And you definitely can tell that's something you have to turn on in the content manager. Come on, go, go, go. See, my foot was already to the floor. So that took us, if that timer is correct, that took us 9 minutes, 55 seconds. So sub 10 seconds. That's not too bad. I mean, sub 10 minutes. So I don't know if you can see the steering wheel shaking there. Sorry, because I had there's nothing left of the brakes, basically. What I'm going to show you really quick, though, is what I was talking about. So if I just lightly accelerate, it's shifting gears. See, so I think we're in third, maybe in overdrive now. Yeah, now we're in overdrive. So it went through all the gears with me giving it maybe 5-10% throttle. And now if I step on it, takes a second and then it shifts down. That is how these transmissions worked in the real world back in the day. That is how an old school torque converter. Now, there are torque converter transmissions now that are much better. For example, I believe the new 10 speeds in the Fords, so the Mustangs, the F-150s, a lot of their cars have a torque converter type transmission, but they are much more responsive, and obviously they have more gears and things like that. But look, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, click the like and you hit subscribe if you're not. These things are very, very cool, man. I absolutely love cars like this. This is so much fun. I think I really like things like this more than the race cars. And again, I keep saying, I know that probably sounds crazy, but I love driving cars like this. So if you do, the link will be in the description below for this. It is awesome. Huge thank you to all of the many people who were involved in making this, because I know, I can't even imagine. I don't know. I can't even imagine how much time and effort was put into making this thing so good. And they had to have known that not that many people are going to drive it. But even still, they definitely put a lot of effort into this thing. So check this out. This mod is free. I believe if you want to donate to them, you can. And that would be nice if you'll do that, because I know that they've put a lot of effort into this. Now, make sure you go watch Mike's video and check his out and see what he has to say about it, because he goes a lot further in detail, like I said, in all this information. And the other thing is, he said that maybe somebody told him something behind the scenes. I don't really know. But he did say it sounds like they are in development on another car that's going to be similar to this. So I can't wait. It's going to be super exciting. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thanks so much for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed it. Go get out on track and drive this thing, or whatever you want to. Have a good time today. As always, thank you very much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. We'll see you guys in the next video. We'll see you later.